The Next Level Podcast, from Lynn Studios on the Texas Gulf Coast.
Engineering, construction, design, and development. We're building Texas.
Okay, everybody. Next Level Podcast. Here we go. Today, we're joined with Mitchell from the engineering company and Stuart, who is everybody, everything to everyone, but in your development capacity today, I guess. And we did something cool this morning. You want to tell everybody what we did?
Yeah, we had an official groundbreaking for Valor Park, a subdivision we're doing here in Bay City. So excited. Had a great turnout. A lot of the local officials, the city. Yeah, it was just great. Had a lot of good turnout.
It was the longest, I think, agenda I've ever seen for an event like that. We had like 10 speakers or something, but huge turnout. Yeah, it was good. Standing room only, ran out of chairs. It's good to see the community support. So
Definitely.
a lot has to happen before you can turn dirt, right? And a lot of that happens in the engineering space. So, you want to go all the way back to before we even acquired the property, or do you want to begin with, we got the land, now what?
I'll do a brief summary of how we got to where we're at, and then Mitchell can talk about some of the engineering challenges and what it's taken to get to where we're at now. So,
okay.
So probably 6 or so years ago, the 34 acres came available in Bay City. Was the biggest tract in the city limits that was yet to be developed, and so we purchased that property. Had that since then. We had a kind of a mini design that engineering worked on that Mitchell played a big part in, and right before we got almost in the final design, the school district contacted us. They had 18 acres next door, so we're able to incorporate that. So it ended up turning into a 56-acre subdivision. So yeah, we were ready to bought the property 7 years ago, but it took city drainage district, lots of other people coming together. We had to either have a TERS or 380 agreement to be able to get reimbursed for some of the infrastructure to make the project viable. So that was the reason why I had so many people, partners that came to the groundbreaking today. They all played a big part in that. So they were able to make that project viable. So here we are. We had had all that done, and then engineering took over and did a great job designing it. Mitchell played a big part of that.
Yeah, so been a long time since Bay City's seen a development of that size. There's been some here and there, probably 30, 40 homes. I think Golden Glen was what, 100? I don't know. But what's it currently stand at right now for Valor Park?
Mitchell?
226 lots.
Okay.
223. Yes, that's the plan. The fully completed subdivision, about 226 lots. But the way the development set up now, there's still the opportunity. Maybe the bigger lots are selling at a faster rate than some of the smaller lots. That count may come down, but for now, it's planned to be 226. So
that's fantastic.
You mentioned the TERS. Expand on the TERS. I think that's interesting. Has a negative. I think some people have a negative connotation of it just because they're not educated on how it benefits the communities where the cities or the counties take a risk to set those things up. So, if you're explaining it to a third grader, how would you explain it to TERS, and how does the TERS benefit a third grader that may live in Bay City?
To take it even one step back, we have probably one of the biggest experts in TERS around, which is DC Dunham. She runs our development team, and she was instrumental in starting the first TERS in Matagorda County, or at least in Bay City for sure. It was Matagorda County, and since then, I think they're on number 5 here in Bay City. But a TERS, which is TIRZ, stands for Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone. And what it does, it's a way for a developer to come in. Yes, they have to pay for the infrastructure up front, but with the incremental tax value, they're able to get that money back through the TERS. And so it's a big thing. There's hundreds of them around Matagorda County. Again, DC Dunham was the first one to do that. She came on board with us 5 years ago. She just celebrated her 5-year anniversary with us, and so we were able to get a TERS for that property. And so essentially, again, TERS, TIRZ, it's tax increment reinvestment zone. What it does is there's a baseline of taxes whenever you set it up, and anything above that increment is able to be set into a pool essentially, and that is able to use to reimburse the developer. So that's what we're.
So essentially, the baseline means the city isn't out anything.
That's right. So that's the big negative connotation Mitchell spoke about. a lot of people think it's a tax abatement or it's something that the city or the county or people are giving up. It's absolutely not that. There's a baseline that's set, and they're going to always get that base no matter what. What it does is because a developer is taking a risk and going in and developing the property with that increment. So if nothing ever gets done, there's no increment, so nobody gets anything. There's no harm, no foul. In the event we're doing, we already got it all designed. We're gonna put in the roads, the water, the sewer, pay for that all out of pocket. And then as houses are being built, obviously that increment be is gonna rise, and that increment will go into a pool that we'll be able to get reimbursed for. So the city, the county, anyone that's involved in the TERS loses nothing. Yes, that increase we get to be reimbursed for, but when it's all said and done, when the TERS is over, depending on the timeline and the reimbursement of the project, at some point they're going to get 100% of it. So that's it's a win-win for everyone. And truly, the only other way to do it is for the city to go out and get a bond or get some kind of loan and put the infrastructure in and hope somebody's going to build there and then they get it back themselves. So the increase is going to be used to pay back somebody. So in this case, it takes all the onus off of the city and it's 100% on the developer.
Right, because if the city does it that way, they got to put the streets in and all. Right,
and hope somebody comes and builds. And if they do, then they use that same money to pay themselves back. Well, in this case, they're doing the exact same thing, but they're not having to take any of the risk.
Yeah, and it's also it also makes the community that's willing to do those type of things more attractive to developers like you and maybe somebody else who would want to come into the county to do a development. And I think what another misconception that's common, at least from what I've heard, is, Stuart as a developer is going to get this tax money for the rest of his life. That's definitely not the case. This is the TERS is not a profit machine, right, unless you're the city, right? If the whole project gets built out, I mean, this could add millions of dollars to the tax roll for the city, and the city literally did almost no work for it.
They definitely don't have to take any risk.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. That's right. So,
and eventually they'll get 100% of that once the developer, in this case,
right,
us, once we get paid back, they get 100% of it. So it's like you said, we're not making any money off it. It's just a way for us to get reimbursed for the risk that we're taking.
That's right.
Let's talk about the school district for one quick second, because we're talking about taxes and the point of this community. One of the big things that we're proud of is what it's going to mean for the school district when it gets built out. And there's 200 and something homes with kids living in the homes, going to the junior high down the street. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I know that there's an amount per pupil that the state funds districts, right? So as you build the population in the area of the school district, kids are in the seats in the schools, the school district's getting more money too as a result of this.
That's right. It's something we're all passionate about. I have 8 kids and 7 grandkids. Mitchell has 2 kids all right here in the school district. So yeah, we're big into giving back. And so the really exciting thing about this is we had this 34 acres designed, ready to go, and then we're able to put this 18 acres with it, which came from the school district. And so now we're able to, instead of having 100 something lots, now we have 226 that Mitchell talked about earlier. So each one of those lots represents a potential kid that's going to live there, that's going to be able to go to Bay City ISD, and not only are they going to reap the reward as far as from a financial standpoint, but you're building community, and it's just it's important to us. So we're excited about doing that.
Yeah, and that brings up one of the things that makes the project really unique is that because it's an infill type project, like I'm not having to go out and annex a piece of county property into the city to develop the subdivision. This is an infill project, so I'm
a giant infill project.
Yeah, so the property's already inside city limits, so I don't have to modify any of I don't have to add a certain area to a school district. I don't have to modify bus routes. I don't have to extend utilities out to a piece of property that
emergency services already drive by.
Yeah, it just makes it so nice. I mean, the subdivision is going to be within walking distance, a baseball's throw away from the junior high, and it builds up the existing community as opposed to what we're used to on the engineering side. A lot of the projects we have the opportunity to work on are properties that need to be annexed, properties that need to be rezoned, things like that. And that's what makes, in my opinion, this project really unique. Is it's an infill, which is rare for rural communities like Bay City.
So to that end, talk about the engineering and everything that you had to do. I think the school board meeting was July before last. It was a while when it was voted on and yes, Lynn Development's going to acquire this property. You guys got to work, and we broke ground today. So what happened in between?
So in development, there's a lot of work that has to go on before you're actually able to turn dirt. I mean, there's a lot of surveying, platting, final construction design, a ton of reviewing entities and agencies that have to sign off on the design because it's going to be used to serve the public. Those 226 families that are eventually going to live in this subdivision, they're going to drive on the roads that we design. They're going to get their water out of the pipes that we put in the ground. So it's important that everything's done to the highest standard to ensure health and safety of the community that it's serving. Another struggle on this particular project is Bay City is a rural community. It's not like when we're doing a subdivision in our DFW market or in Corpus Christi where they're doing 50 subdivisions a year, and the review process and who you need to talk to and who's responsible for what is kind of already set up. In Bay City, they maybe do one subdivision every 10 years. So the reviewing process, who at the city is responsible for, reviewing construction drawings, or who at the drainage district, which engineer you're going to get to review the plans and what the process that they want you to follow, that stuff's not structured. So one of the things I think that, we were the first ones in the last few years, we were the first ones to get fully permitted. So we had to kind of break through all those walls of, hey, I want my preliminary plat sent here. This is the person you need to get with. I want my final construction drawings sent here. This is the person who's going to be reviewing them. When we first started, it was kind of like who's on first and, who's responsible for making sure this thing gets pushed through. And I think we did a really good job of exposing some of the issues that the community had about getting projects like this approved.
Yeah, that was mentioned actually at the groundbreaking, right? Jessica from the Community Development Corporation came off the stage and told us thanks for being a guinea pig, helping us getting through, learning how all this works. And then, it's been a learning experience for everybody, not just us.
Right.
And, the last time this happened, there was a different mayor, a different council, it's new for everyone.
Different drainage district engineer, different drainage district board. I mean, it's a lot of these people that are in charge of getting these projects through to where you're actually able to break ground. They're hired by elected officials, or they may be an elected official. So, when people change, everyone likes to do things a little bit differently. So it makes things difficult. I think we have a good system now. We'll be ready to do the next one.
Good deal.
Only gets better from here.
Yeah, right.
It definitely is going to be easier. It'll definitely be easier next time.
Well, I know, there's a big crowd today. A lot of people excited, not just because of where it's at, but who it is, right? I mean, most of the time in communities, small rural communities like this, it's out-of-town developer from the big city coming in doing things. That's not the case here. You guys are local. The engineering all happened here. The development happened here. We went and found a local builder in the region. It's a homegrown project through and through.
Yep. Yeah, the taxes stay here. The people that are employed to work on the project live here and spend their money here. So yeah, I mean, it's rare.
Some of the people working on the project may end up living in the project.
Right. So it's rare, at least like, for me, when we're doing projects for other developers around the state, the people that are going to live in those developments don't live and work for us. This is one of the rare projects that we were able to be, 100% a part of that, when I pay my property taxes at the end of the year, I know that they're going to be going to the same pool that the Valor Park pool is going into. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, Valor Park is on the north side of town by Del Norte, 16th Carey Smith Boulevard and M over by the softball fields, where the former junior high used to be. What did we learn about that building when we got the property from the school district? It became our problem, right? So.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, we were able to. The school district was nice enough. We had to go out for public bid to get the property, and was the school district is not in the business. They're tearing down schools and doing remediation and asbestos removal and those kind of things. And so we're able to get that property, get it demoed and cleared out, and now we're able to. It's an extra 18 acres, and so that's probably 65 to 70 additional houses that are able to be part of the subdivision that would have never been that way, and it helped the school district. And now, what are they going to do with an abandoned building, having to maintain it, keep it on their insurance, keep it on their tax rolls, as far as having to maintain it?
It was a huge liability for them.
That's right. And so once kids are out of the school, it's nothing but a liability to them. So it was a win-win for everyone. So kudos to the school district for thinking outside the box and figuring out a way to make it a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to watching it from the ground up, literally. And what's next for Valor Park? We broke ground today. Now what happens?
Yeah, so we've got contracts for a portion of phase one. I'm working on finishing that up, and in the meantime, I'll let Mitchell talk about some of this. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and finish up the design for the other parts. That way, they're literally waiting for these lots to be sold. So yeah, we're moving fast and hard. We're going to get these 30 lots, the infrastructure in, and then we're ready to move to phase two and beyond.
Yes, right now on our schedule, we're planning to have phase two submitted to city and county for the May meeting. So month of May, we should be getting submitted. So.
Okay, wow, it's a lot sooner than phase one happened.
Yeah, right.
Because we know what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, and again, like, so when you do a phase project like this, a lot of people think, I just designed phase one. Now what? Well, to design the phase one, you have to design the whole site.
Right.
Like, I can't just design a piece of an entire project that doesn't serve the rest of the project. How does my future sewer tie into my proposed phase one sewer? How are my streets going to drain? I can't just set everything at one elevation and then hope that phase two is going to work itself out. So once you get that, to get to a phase one, you essentially have to do the design on the entire project just to get that phase one portion ready to go and submitted. So once phase one is done, the other phases fall into place pretty easily.
The first domino and then the rest of it.
Right.
That's exciting. So, okay, what's next?
What's next on this end, and something we talked about at the groundbreaking, is that what's good is that, again, from a company, we want to make a difference, and we made the announcement. We're building a community, Matagorda County. We're building a community just like that in Honduras, and I want to bring this up because I want to congratulate Mitchell. And we had a call last night and made the announcement that we're going to send in 40 people. 40 of us are going to go to Honduras. We're going to scope it out, find a place, and we're essentially going to build Matagorda County in Honduras and call it subdivision Matagorda. So there'll be a Matagorda subdivision in Honduras that's going to have the same infrastructure like we're designing here. It's going to have roads. It's going to have water, sewer, houses. We're going to have a clinic there, a chapel. We're going to build an entire subdivision to kind of replicate what we're doing here in Matagorda County. And we're on that call last night, and I'm going to let Mitchell explain to him what he did. But he did something as the leader of engineering. It's commendable. It's one thing for the owner to have a vision. It's another thing for someone to come alongside and take part of that. And as the call was ending and we're talking about who's going and this kind of things and doing some fundraising, he made an announcement. So I'm gonna let Mitchell explain to him, hey, what made you do that, and tell him what you did and how we're going to what we're doing in Honduras.
Yeah, so the Honduras project is big for all of us. If you don't know, 10% of all of our profits go to the orphans, widows, and needy, and this is one of the big projects that we're working on in 2023. And I'm not able to go on the Honduras trip. I wish I was. I'm not able to do it. So what I was able to do, though, is I'm sponsoring. I was going to be 5, now it's 6 individuals to go. I still expect them to do their part and fundraise, but we were asking all the employees that wanted to go to put up 1,000, and we would match it. And for 6 of our guys, I'm covering their 1,000. So yeah, it's a small, in the grand scheme of things, it's just money. But I know it's important to the 6 that are going that they were able to go and just, alleviate the burden on them. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. So I think I texted you right after. I was like, "You're a good dude."
Yeah.
And you said 10-4, which is like your thing.
Yeah.
But so yeah, making a big difference abroad. Also, because of Valor Park, we're going to get to do some stuff locally too. We made some announcements today at the groundbreaking. You want to touch on that?
Yeah. So again, because the school district took a big part in helping us get this subdivision and adding the extra 18 acres to it for the first 30 lots in phase one, we're donating $1,000. That can be for a scholarship fund that teachers can apply for and be able to recoup their money that they spend. Teachers are always having to spend the money extra out of their pocket to decorate their room and do different things that they just don't always have funds for. So we're going to rebate them up to $1,000, reimburse them for decorating their room. And we made that announcement. We plan on doing that, and then as the builder got up and we introduced him, he said he was going to match it. So $60,000 will be able to go into a fund that teachers from Bay City ISD can get reimbursed for decorating their schoolroom. So that's exciting.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't, and this isn't, when we talk about Honduras, we talk about the fund that we're putting together for the teachers. It's not exclusive. You don't have to be a Lynn Engineering or LynnGroup employee to contribute. I mean, everyone's welcome to come by the office, meet with us. We'll explain the project to you. Come by the office. We'll tell you about what we're doing for the teachers. You want to know more about the Valor Park project? Come by the office. It's open to everybody. You want to donate, you want to help out. Not everyone's able to travel to Honduras. Not everyone, has the means to donate and sponsor people to go. But I'm assuming everyone watching this podcast or listening to it has a Facebook or social media account. Hit like, hit share. Let just increase the visibility of projects like this, because I mean, who knows, somebody that Honduras is near and dear to their heart, or educators are near and dear to their heart. It's easy for them to just see that and want to contribute to what we're trying to do here. And everything's going on the Honduras side, at least everything's going through a nonprofit, so it's not like you're throwing money away that you're gonna have to pay tax. Everything's tax deductible. I mean, it's legit. It's not going to a cause where 90% of the money that you send our way is going to get paid out to administrators or whatever. I mean, this is going to be.
You're also not Venmoing us, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be for boots on the ground guys. Are going to be physically there, stacking bricks, feeding the needy, or putting money directly into a fund that's going to directly help the teachers that are serving the kids in the community. I mean, it costs no money to hit share or hit like or whatever. So
that's right.
Yeah, that announcement was we came up kind of with the idea over the last couple of weeks and fleshed it all out earlier this week. Had no idea that the builder, he didn't know about it until he's sitting in the audience today and stood up and decided that he wanted to be part of it too. And that's just amazing. $60,000 goes a long way in some classrooms. So the way that will look eventually, once we get it all set up, we'll have a page on our website for teachers to apply, and it's a reimbursement. So keep your receipts. And
right.
And there will be an application process, and we'll work through it. And to Mitchell's point, if enough people donate, it could be more than $60,000. So
that's right.
And then the other part of the announcement today, which was really cool and got its own round of applause, is for Bay City ISD employees who actually end up buying in phase 1 of Valor Park. There's a benefit for them too, right?
Yep. So any Bay City ISD employee that gets a house in Valor Park, we're going to pay for half of their property taxes for their first 2 years. So that'll be a burden lifted for them. There's more important things they can put their money into. If they're a Bay City ISD employee, we want them to sow into the kids and those different things. So yeah, we thought that was the least that we could do, is for any employee, we'd pay half of their property taxes for the first 2 years.
Yeah, neither of you live in City of Bay City, so that's about a $3,000 value. If you didn't know, I do pay City of Bay City property taxes.
Well, awesome, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to join me today. I know it's been a busy day out there turning dirt and a lot of speaking and visiting with a lot of friends. And we're so glad that so many of you came out to visit today and learn about what we're doing and support the project. Any questions anybody has about any of this, like Mitchell said, you can stop by the office. We're at 2200 Avenue A in Bay City, right behind the library, next to the gas company. And you can email us hello@lyngroup.com if you have questions, suggestions, anything like that. And like it, share, subscribe, all those good things.
Smash the like button.
Yeah.
Ring the bells.
Yeah.